Hi everyone, it's Jody Whitworth. I'm an anchor and reporter at WHO TV in Des Moines, Iowa. I graduated from the University of Northwestern, which was actually called Northwestern College, in the fall of 2012. So not too long ago that I was at Northwestern. I had a really good time there. I learned a lot. I was a part of Eagle 7 News. It was a pretty interesting experience. Obviously, I had never been on camera before. I had never really read a teleprompter, anything like that. But it was a great class to kind of just give me a glimpse of what I would be pursuing a career in. It was really helpful to kind of gain my confidence, learn some of the basic skills, and get a chance to do some reps during the chapel TV time. So that was always fun. I had a moment once where I couldn't stop laughing during one of the newscasts that was aired during chapel, and I was anchoring on the desk, and my professor at the time, Dr. Riley, was so upset with me that I could not gain composure that I got a little bit of a scolding afterwards. But hey, that's a part of the entire learning process. But I think the main takeaway from Eagle 7 was that it just gave me so much confidence, and kind of gave me a glimpse as to what I was going to be pursuing just a few years later. So here I am. This is our newsroom behind me. Right now it's a little bit empty. It's 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, so we have the 6 o'clock newscast going on right now. So not a lot of people in here, but this is kind of what our newsroom looks like. The center area right here would be where all the producers sit and help write the show. The anchors and the reporters are kind of scattered just around the perimeter. And then here is our lovely Kate, who is our web director. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. So lots of facets within the newsroom, but here's just kind of what ours looks like. So I would like to show you inside of the newsroom or inside the studio, but obviously right now there is a show going on. So I think you guys know what a studio looks like. So anyway, some other things that Professor Dave would like me to touch on are just some tips for young journalists and photographers. This is a field that a lot of people think is highly competitive, stressful, and just hard to get into. It is all of those things, but with the right sort of training and skill, you guys can definitely get into it. I know when I was first applying for jobs, I applied about 6 months in advance or so. I applied to like 30 stations around the country. I had a little spreadsheet of who I applied to and who I got callbacks from. I got callbacks from about 6 stations and was eventually hired in November of the year I was graduating. So it was a real blessing that I got picked up while I was still in school, and I truly believe that you guys can have that same opportunity. Really focus on your writing. Writing is so crucial. I know when I was at Northwestern, AP style books weren't really a thing that teachers encouraged us to buy. I would encourage you to buy an AP style book just so you can understand kind of the trends, how you should write things, and also watch your local newscasts. That's something that should be, hi Ben, that should be something that is just second nature, and watching those newscasts just so you can get an idea of how producers are writing stories, how reporters are telling stories. I think that's a really good tool for you to use, and you have so many great stations up there in the Twin Cities, so definitely take advantage of that. And oftentimes we write the same story 3 or 4 different times. So learning how to write and write differently, but still write a strong story is super important. I would also say other tips for journalists is knowing what you're getting into before you delve into your first job. That means working weekends, working holidays. My photographer right now is shaking her head. It's all of those things. And I myself am a family person. And so I really enjoy spending time with family, but knowing that since you are a low man on the totem pole, you will be working those shifts that are really undesirable, but they won't last forever. So just know what you're getting yourself into. Long hours as well. There's going to be really hard and challenging parts of the job too, which is, I think, where honing in on your sensitivity and your understanding for people is crucial as well. My photographer Marissa and I spent the weekend knocking on doors after a 13-year-old boy accidentally shot and killed himself. And here we are knocking on doors, hoping to learn more about this boy. And it's uncomfortable, but having a sense of understanding and sensitivity towards subjects is really helpful in this job. And so that's a tip to have too. That's something that really can't be taught, but something that you'll understand as you go forward. Another tip is just being confident and not being afraid to make cold calls. You're going to be calling strangers, dozens of strangers throughout your entire workday. So that's another thing to just kind of be aware of and be confident in your on-air capabilities and skills. Again, that's something that kind of goes along with once you've been in it for a little bit. But those are skills you can work on now. Always be shooting stand-ups, always getting a chance to do anchoring for Eagle 7 News if possible. It's a really cool opportunity to have, and it does pay off in the long run. Ultimately, though, internships. When I was in college, I had 4. 2 of them here, 1 in Minneapolis and 1 in Illinois. Those were by far the areas where I learned the most, more than what I would have ever learned in the classroom. It was just a chance to kind of be out in the real world, doing a job that you're interested in, and knowing if you're going to like it or not. I was really blessed with the opportunity to work with a lot of people who are now my mentors, who allowed me to anchor and allowed me to shoot stand-ups in the field after their stories were done, of course. That's crucial. And so if you haven't had an internship yet, at least get at least one under your belt. That is so important because you are going to learn tenfold of what you would ever learn in the classroom. So that is my tip for you there. And then the last question Professor Dave wants me to ask. I don't know if he goes by Professor Dave, so sorry, Dave, if you don't go by that. He's asking my thoughts on what they're learning now and how it will benefit them in the future in any communication field. I would say just being a good communicator as a whole when it comes to writing, when it comes to just engaging in your interviewee or your subject, if you want to call them that, or this the other person you're talking to or wanting to relay information off of. I just think communication seems so simple, but it can be difficult. I know that sometimes our newsroom has trouble communicating and we're a TV station, which is funny. But I would say just learning how to write and be clear and concise and inviting when you're talking to someone and wanting to either share their story, sell their product if you're in PR, whatever it may be. It's just be human and be real. Like, a lot of people turn on their anchorman voice when they get in front of a camera and they're a totally different person. Be yourself. You're way more inviting that way, and people will be really receptive to that and feed off of that. So hopefully this made sense. I think that's all I'm going to cover today. If you have any other questions, Dave knows how to get in contact with me. Otherwise, you can find me on Facebook, Jody Whitworth, WHITWORTH. You can find me on Twitter, all of that. But if you have any questions, and seniors, for those of you who are applying for jobs this spring, if you need any advice or resources, I would love to help you out in that area because we need lots of aspiring young reporters in our newsroom. So thanks so much for listening to my story, and have a great rest of the semester.